This chart illustrates an iron law of extreme wealth. Family fortunes rarely survive their founders. A billionaire builds an empire in Generation 1, the children coast in Generation 2, and by Generation 3, estate taxes and infighting drag the line to zero. Take John D. Rockefeller Sr. By the late 1800s, he had engineered a ruthless 90% monopoly over American oil refining. He wielded immense financial power, and the American public absolutely despised him for it. Public outrage eventually forced the federal government to step in. In May 1911, the Supreme Court ruled Standard Oil an illegal monopoly and ordered it broken into 34 separate pieces. By the rules of the generational curse, this antitrust action should have destroyed his legacy. The updated timeline shows how the breakup completely backfired on the government. The newly spun-off companies surged in value, making Rockefeller the world's first billionaire. Today, 7 generations later, his descendants still control an estimated $10 billion. The Rockefellers survived because they treated their wealth like an engineering problem. To beat the odds of history, they constructed a 3-pillar system designed to outlive them all. The first pillar was born out of a crisis that nearly ruined the family. In 1914, striking coal miners at a Rockefeller-owned company in Colorado were attacked by guards and state troops. Tents were set on fire, and 21 people died, including 11 children. The nation immediately branded the family as murderers. John D. Rockefeller Jr. realized that massive capital was a liability if the public demanded your head. He hired PR experts, traveled to the mines to meet with grieving families, and effectively invented modern corporate crisis management. He then poured hundreds of millions into public works. During the darkest economic days of the Great Depression, he financed the construction of Rockefeller Center, employing thousands of desperate workers. He funded universities, national parks, and disease eradication, washing the family's toxic image clean. Their institutional funding also flowed into highly dangerous territory. In the 1920s and 30s, the Rockefeller Foundation provided hundreds of thousands of dollars to German research facilities, backing eugenics programs at the Kaiser Wilhelm Institutes that ultimately influenced Nazi racial hygiene policies. Through these sprawling foundations, they shaped global health and science. Philanthropy acted as a strategic shield, making their massive concentration of wealth publicly acceptable and protecting the empire from outside interference. Once the family name was sanitized, the third generation went to work on the second pillar. They stepped out of the domestic oil fields and embedded themselves into the mechanics of global governance and banking. David Rockefeller took the helm at Chase Manhattan Bank. He used the family's financial leverage to open branches in developing nations, flying around the world to forge personal relationships with foreign presidents, dictators, and finance ministers. While David controlled the money, his brother Nelson chased political office. He became governor of New York and ran for president 3 times. His aggressive pursuit of executive power backfired violently during the 1971 Attica prison uprising, where his refusal to negotiate ended in an assault that left 39 people dead. David recognized that relying on elected officials was too volatile. Politicians are replaced every few years. In 1973, he partnered with Henry Kissinger to found the Trilateral Commission, a private group that bridged corporate CEOs with politicians from North America, Europe, and Asia. By fusing an international banking network with direct access to global statecraft, the Rockefellers transformed their private interests into a sovereign-level force. Yet even with bulletproof public relations and global influence, one ultimate threat remained. If descendants could access the money directly, a single bad investment, a messy divorce, or a hefty estate tax bill could tear the empire apart. This diagram illustrates Senior and Junior's final masterstroke. Starting in 1934, they locked the fortune inside irrevocable perpetual dynasty trusts. Legally, the central vault intercepts the wealth, severing direct ownership from the descendants entirely. Because the trusts bypass generational transfers, the family legally avoids the punishing 40% federal estate tax. Professional managers invest the principal, allowing it to compound tax-free, while handing out $50 to $100 million in annual stipends. No individual heir can cash out the main pot. Because the terms of these trusts are irrevocable, The descendants have no choice but to stay cohesive. Over 200 modern heirs might passionately disagree on politics or business, but they cannot legally tear the financial structure apart. This legal architecture enforces a hard truth. To preserve wealth permanently, a family must lose the power to actually control it. Today, modern tech billionaires watch their net worth swing wildly, with every quarterly earnings office, meanwhile, quietly manages over $100 billion in client assets with steady, unbroken discipline. Their influence operates invisibly in the background. Family members still hold crucial board seats across major industries, and their sprawling philanthropic foundations continue to steer international policy, including major United Nations Sustainable Development Initiatives. They survived a century of global wars, economic depressions, and cultural upheaval because they built an armor of strategic philanthropy, stitched themselves into global politics, and locked their capital inside airtight trusts. Their ultimate legacy is the master blueprint they left behind, a roadmap for how a mortal family can